Okay, everybody, I just want to make this quick video about something I get quite a bit of questions about in my YouTube videos about TSW, and that has directly to do with NMT, which is no moisturizer treatment. And I can't go over the full thing because I'm not an expert and I won't pretend to be, but I can at least try to be helpful, point you in the right direction, and give you my firsthand experience with this specific topic. So in order to do so, I'm going to pull up this specific section on what I call the TSW Bible. It's called Decoding Topical Steroid Withdrawal.com. And it's put together by the people from the CAP Clinic in the UK. And I have found it to be the most helpful website because they have this section called TSW Advice. And if you click that tab, you'll see a whole bunch of different sections on NMT. So before I continue, I just want to say, if you're on the fence about this, if you're wondering if this is real or not, can moisturizers really damage permanently TSW skin? Go onto my feed for this YouTube channel and find the podcast with Alia Muhammad. That scared me straight. She is a lady who went to the CAP clinic in Thailand, and she used a product I think called Bauman's on her TSW skin way too much, and it caused her to have permanent hardened skin or elephant skin all over her body. And if I'm correct, she needs that CAP machine probably for the rest of her life. So the reason why I bring this up is to hopefully prevent any permanent damage. And these products are not inherently evil. I know some of the products use petrolatum, which is from the oil industry, but using a moisturizer is not evil for normal skin. It's actually really good, and it's helps our skin look beautiful and healthy. But with TSW skin, it's a bit different. How is TSW skin affected by moisturizers? It is important to note that moisturizers affect different skin types differently. Likewise, moisturizers affect TSW skin differently from healthy skin, like we discussed before. Because TSW skin cells are modulated by long-term steroid use and thus weakened and unable to recover or regenerate as quickly as healthy skin. When humectants are applied to TSW skin, water is drawn from the deeper layers of the skin to the surface. Prolonged usage causes the deeper layers of the skin to dry out and harden, causing hardened TSW skin. This is most easily observed on skin where the joints are: fingers, wrists, ankles, neck, and décolletage. I don't know what that means. Elbows and knees. Hardened skin can happen on any part of the body, but the joints are most obvious to notice. Okay. For an example of early signs of hardened skin, scroll to see the pictures below. And I actually do find this really helpful. See these 3 photos. Study them carefully, okay? There's a bunch of really important information in not just this section, which is called, "Is moisturizer withdrawal necessary for healing?" But there's 2 other sections. Let me just scroll back to show you what they are. How does moisturizer affect TSW skin is 1. Stages of moisturizer withdrawal healing, and then moisturizer withdrawal guide. I'm not going to go all over those because we just don't have time. And again, it would kind of defeat the point, because it seems like everyone's case is different. So I plead and beg, if you are going through TSW, please look over not just those 3 sections, but the whole TSW advice. I really think it can help people. And if it doesn't, I'm so sorry, but at least just give it a try.
The JP Touchette podcast is brought to you by Compadre. Love every walk. Do you have a strong and willful pulling dog? Well, not anymore. Compadre, the makers of the patented no-pull solution, have created a humane harness and leash system to help train against pulling and lunging behaviors. Compadre believes that you don't have to hurt a dog or break their beautiful spirit in order to get them to be good citizens on a leash. Gentle corrections around the strongest part of a dog's anatomy, the chest, means that you can guide and train your dog without painful pinch collars, e-collars, or choke chains. This system helps you to gain your dog's attention and lead them to walk calmly beside you. And if you use promo code JPT2025, you can get 10% off your order. And I can tell you from experience, you'll be glad you did. Seriously, guys, I have actually had a chance to try this myself, not on me, but on a big dog with a huge personality and a lot of energy. And this is a legit product that I actually believe in, and I believe in the owner's mission as well. This is an excellent company, and if you want to change the way that you are walking with your dog, this is the way to go. So if you want to see why dog trainers, pet owners, and vets love Compadre, then visit compadre.com. That's COMPAWDRE.com. Thanks, y'all. Peace.
There were times, especially in the beginning of my TSW, where I was going through this red flushing phase, where I was in so much pain, I just wanted something to comfort me. And I would put coconut oil on, I would put the CeraVe moisturizer on, and I noticed something. I noticed that I felt worse a little after applying this product, whatever it was. It would comfort me at first, maybe help me sleep, but then it would be more painful later. And they kind of touch on this in this article. They say across all three types of moisturizers, all contain various ingredients that are foreign to the skin. TSW skin, being extremely sensitive, detects these foreign substances. This is why TSW skin is often red/pink after application of a moisturizer or cream. And I noticed that when I would apply moisturizers on my TSW skin, it would feel good for a little while, and then it would be pink. And then it would feel like someone put a hot glue gun glue all over my skin. It felt horrible. And then it would start to flake and flake and flake. And every time I was tempted to put on moisturizers again, I would go onto this website and I would see this. This is the stages. These are the stages of skin healing, normal TSW versus if you're dependent on moisturizers. So you'll see here that on the right, it says natural healing stages. Number 1 is the skin is inflamed. It's red, shiny, sometimes patchy. It then proliferates. So you'll see the flaking, the itching, the dryness. That's your skin trying to repair itself. Okay, then that turns into the skin remodeling, tight, itchy, painful. You'll see vertical lines on your skin where it's starting to actually like pull itself back together. And then after that, the skin is stronger, maybe not 100% healed, but better than it was during that flare. You can kind of think of it as an eczema flare-up on steroids, pun intended. Then compare that to the moisturizer inflammation cycle. It's different. First, the skin is inflamed, red, shiny, sometimes patchy. The skin proliferates to heal. And as it's proliferating and healing, you apply that moisturizer on that healing skin, and in order to relieve that discomfort that you're getting from that itchiness and dryness. But then it goes right back into the flare. You don't go through the healing stage. It doesn't stay healed. You're just perpetually screwing your skin up by doing that. So that's why I was dogged about not relying on skin products. Now, you might say, Mr. Hey, black and white thinking is bad. Are we not allowed to use any products on our skin? Like, am I just supposed to completely raw dog it? Like, no, I don't think so. And I think you can get away with very limited uses of products, which is what I did, right? I'm not going to sit here and preach to you and say, I didn't use anything. I'm better than you. No, I'm not going to say that. And so that's where I'll get to the last part of this video, which is I did use some products for very limited uses on my skin. Keep in mind, all of these products were recommended to me from my traditional Chinese medicine doctor, who is Olivia Friedman. These did help but at a certain point they didn't. And let's go over them now. This is a company that is called Dermatology M. I'll take the cleanest looking box for you. This is what it looks like. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus on that bad boy. I hope you can see that well. It's like a little maroon Chinese symbol. I'll put some of the ingredients and cycle them on the screen for you so you can see just how clean the ingredients are. There's not a lot of BS in this. And the one that I found to be the most useful is one, you can see all of these are expired and they're full because I barely used them. But this one's called Shizhen Gao. And let me just open it up so you can actually see what I'm talking about. This is really expired, so it actually looks pretty good. It's kind of like this clay-like green substance. It doesn't look like a normal moisturizer. And what Shizhen Gao was for was when I had these like open, gaping, like it looked like a griffin came along and just slashed my legs open, and there were these gaping wounds behind my knees. I used this to dry the oozing, gaping wounds and keep them cooled down. And I think it was, like maybe twice a day or once a day until the wound became dry. And then I was told to stop it. And then if it opened up and started oozing again, repeat the process. Once it dried out again, stop. I used it behind my knees. I used it on my foot. And I think I used it around my tailbone because those were all like really, really oozy and terrible. But I will say this. Last summer, I had gaping, open, oozing sores behind my knees, and I put this stuff on and it made it worse. Okay? It flared me up. It made me more itchy. So that should just go to tell you that different products work at different stages for different people. And I can only say what helped me during a certain point, which was something like Shizhen Gao, which I found to be the most helpful. Another one I found in between the crooks of my arms was Huang Lian Gao. And one on my face in the winter, because I live way up in the north, when my face was just super dry, I put a little bit of this stuff, and it has like mint in it, menthol. But again, these were for very limited short-term uses. I didn't want to rely on them just like I relied on steroids because I did notice my skin getting more red. And when I noticed that, I would walk it back and not use it as much. So I find that incredibly important to highlight that things are not black and white. You got to be careful, but you also have to make sure that you're not causing irreparable damage on your TSW skin. Now, one final thing I want to highlight when it comes to NMT is that there are a lot of people in this TSW space, and bless their hearts, but they are preaching this full-on NMT protocol. And NMT, no moisture treatment, if I'm not mistaken, was developed by a Japanese doctor by the name of Dr. Sato. And what you're supposed to do is not drink nearly as much water, not shower, and not use anything. But what is often left out is that you're supposed to be in the hospital under Dr. Sato's care the whole time. And if you try to do that at home, that gets really dangerous because if you're not having a doctor constantly monitoring you, they might not notice that your skin gets really infected like TSW skin does all the time. And then you go to get antibiotics, you get rid of the infection, and then because you're not showering or drinking water or taking care of your skin properly, it gets reinfected, and then you're taking more antibiotics over and over again, and you're hurting yourself. So for me, when I went through this sort of process of kind of ditching the skin products, I would be drinking plenty of water. I would take cold showers twice a day, once in the morning, once at night. And I would have topical antibiotics on hand, like Mupirocin, to just constantly monitor my skin for infections. So that is something absolutely vital. If you think, okay, I need to stop the moisturizers, the skin products, etc., be extremely cautious for infection, because that stuff is something you absolutely don't want to deal with, and you do not want to get eczema herpeticum. Holy crap, that is the worst thing in the world. Do not get it. I'm glad I didn't, but there are plenty of people who do, and they end up in the hospital. And you don't want to do that. Okay, so I hope that this video was somewhat helpful to you, especially if you're going through TSW or someone you know is going through TSW. Again, it's that black and white thinking that is reductive to actual healing, I find. And so that's why I wanted to be completely honest about what I did, what I didn't do, and point you in the right direction. And I have a separate announcement to make. Next week, I'm going to be interviewing on the podcast Kelly BARTA, who is the current president of ITSAN, the ITSAN, International Topical Steroid Awareness Network. She is an incredible human being, and she's the perfect person to be the president because she went through one of the most horrific cases of TSW I have ever seen. So she knows firsthand what you're going through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask if you guys have any questions, thoughtful questions, mind you, drop them in the comments section for this video, and I'll take the best questions and I'll ask Kelly BARTA, because she's a wellspring of knowledge when it comes to this topic. And if there's a way for people who feel like they're in the dark to get their questions answered by a real expert, not just me, then let's do it. So if you have questions, drop them in the comments below and I'll read all of them, and I'll see you next week. Peace.